Let's just say your kid had a gift card for Walmart from the holidays. What would they spend it on? How about a rotisserie chicken? This and more compelling topics today on Go Ask Your Mothers. Welcome to Go Ask Your Mothers, the podcast where motherhood meets advocacy and culture. I'm Sarah Wells, mom to two, CEO, and champion for working parents. Here to break down the headlines, share viral moments, and deliver the tips every mom needs. Let's get to it. I'm Sarah Wells. Welcome to Go Ask Your Mothers, the first episode of my weekly podcast. I am so excited to be here and to talk to you about all things motherhood. I have been a guest on many a podcast in my day, starting with my business, Sarah Wells Bags, talking about breastfeeding hacks and support over the years. And then with the release of my book, Go Ask Your Mothers, this last year, I had the honor of being on a number of podcasts. And I got to thinking over the holidays, it's time that I sit in the host seat. So here we are. This is going to be such a fun and wild ride. It will be a weekly podcast, and I am going to work on 3 segments every week to bring you information you need for self-advocacy and empowerment, a whole lot of fun and laughter because we as moms really need that opportunity. And then, of course, my best hacks and tips and support to help you navigate this wild ride that is motherhood. So thank you so much for being here with me. We will keep this always to under 30 minutes because your time is limited and precious, and we want to get straight to the point. So let's get going. Let's kick it off with our first segment. Each week, I'm going to do the mother of all headlines. This is going to be an opportunity for you to loop in on key public policy happenings going on in like the workplace, law, and just what organizations are talking about, what's going on in Washington, D.C., anything that's related to motherhood, working motherhood, breastfeeding, and other postpartum pregnancy issues that you may know about, but maybe you missed and you really need to know because it could impact your day-to-day life and opportunities to get involved. So let's kick it off. The mother of all headlines. I want to talk first about some big news coming out of New York State. And whether or not you're in New York, I would listen up because when one state paves the way, a lot of other states often follow suit. And this is so cool. New York State is the first to pass paid prenatal leave. Underscore prenatal, not paid leave postpartum for staying home with your child and recovery, but paid prenatal leave. This is big news for New York moms and hopefully the rest of us soon. So it started January 1st, so this is already in effect, but all private sector employees must provide 20 hours of paid prenatal leave per year. This would be for doctor visits, ultrasounds, even fertility treatments, which I am so excited that they considered that when they put this law in place. It's a standalone benefit. It's available from day one of employment. You do not have to have worked there for 6 months, a year, whatever it is to take advantage of this. It doesn't matter your job at the company or the company size. The best part, your boss cannot ask for medical details. So they can't ask you whether or not you are going for fertility treatments, and you don't have to use your sick leave first, which is key. This is such a huge win across the board. Congratulations, New York State, and thank you for a job well done in putting in place this paid prenatal leave. I could see this benefiting. I would have taken advantage of it for sure. In my nonprofit organization I was working with when I was pregnant with Maddie, everybody has to do prenatal visits. Like, this is part of the wellness component of pregnancy. And certainly also if you're in fertility treatments or whatever the issue is related to prenatal leave, now you can go and be paid for that time. So I love the commitment that New York State has been making lately to ensuring that we have healthy babies, healthy moms, and that we are supporting working mothers in the workplace. This is so great. Congratulations. Watch out again. Those of you in New York, you can use this right away. The rest of us are going to be eagerly waiting to see what other states sit up and take note of what New York is doing and implement the same in their state. All right, so we're going to go with the segment Moms Gone Viral. Each week, I am going to bring to you the most viral Instagram reels, TikToks, things going on in the news, the happenings that you may have already seen and want to talk more about, or maybe this is the first time I'm bringing it to you, catching you up on what people are laughing and talking about on the internet. You heard me talk about rotisserie chicken. Did anybody see the TikTok this week that went viral where the adorable girl who had a gift card to Walmart, sky's the limit on what she could spend that gift card on, and what did she pick? She picked a rotisserie chicken. That TikTok has gone viral, and it just reminded me of a motherhood experience I had many years ago. My now 13-year-old Maddie, she was with her grandparents at Toys R Us back when they had their like really large flagship stores all over. And she was told she could buy anything she wanted in the store. So, me, myself, I was thinking back to my childhood, I would have totally gone for one of those Power Wheels type cars, one of the like more souped up ones. I always wanted those as a kid. And I always felt like people who had that really had it made. So she went through the whole store. Legos. I mean, it could be whatever you want, right? And what did she pick? What do you think she picked? She picked a ball. God love her. She picked a ball. And we were all really impressed that she picked something she really wanted and not necessarily like what everybody else would have put out there or as like the big, big prize. But it just was reminding me of this rotisserie chicken story because, you know, when you want some good chicken, you want some good chicken. And sometimes a chicken for lunch or dinner is a much sweeter treat than another squishmallow. All right, let's talk about mom brain. I have been chatting about this on my Instagram this week, and I saw the funniest social media video of a mom who she was recorded on her own baby monitor because she was going in to take care of her small infant in their bassinet or crib. And she was so tired. She actually like mimicked putting them down and like rocking them and putting them down, but they were already in the bassinet. But because she was so exhausted and tired, she didn't realize that there was no baby in her arms. And she caught herself on her camera doing this. I don't know. Anyway, it just brought back all the feelings of new motherhood and sleep deprivation. And so I've been chatting a little bit on my Instagram this week over at Sarah Wells Bags about this. And some of your stories are really funny. Of course, there's the obligatory left your glasses in the freezer, or some of the really sad stories about breast milk being left out when you intended to put it away. For me, one of my most memorable mom brain moments was when I completely and totally, utterly forgot how to spell the word of, like OF. And I sat here solid 10 minutes. I honestly only almost felt like crying because I couldn't figure it out. I was writing OV, UV, OFF. I could not remember. I was so sleep deprived and my brain just kept going of. And it took that full 10 minutes to get to OF. What are your mom brain moments? I would love to hear more from you. Shout out to all the moms that are not getting the sleep they need for full functionality. Don't worry, it mostly comes back. I think there's always some level of mom brain throughout the whole motherhood experience, but I'm with you. And Godspeed to the mom who thought she was putting her child down to sleep, but actually had no baby in her arms. We got your back. One of my other favorite moments from this last week in terms of motherhood comes from Demi Moore, whose children are grown up and having children. I think she has her first grandbaby recently. But I loved watching her at the Golden Globes because I'm a little older than maybe some of you. But do you remember when Demi Moore was like a complete trendsetter in showing up on a cover? I think it was Vanity Fair, completely naked in full pregnancy mode. That was so controversial, edgy at the time. I think this was the early 1990s, but it was so utterly beautiful. And she was an incredible trendsetter for embracing the pregnancy body and the entire experience as being beautiful and not something to hide. And I just was thinking about that as she accepted her first award. I think it was like her first major award ever at the Golden Globes. And even though she's a grandmother now, I think that she also deserves some recognition this week for being a viral trendsetter for all moms, making the pregnancy body so beautiful because seriously, she really is. Well, this has been a fun time. We have hit our final segment. The third segment each week is going to be Mama Hacks and Facts, and I am going to hit a wide range of topics. So come back every week and please feel free to contact me and give me your great ideas for topics that you want to hear more about. This week, we're going to talk about traveling with breast milk. I think this is one of the hottest topics that I have encountered through my Sarah Wells Bags business over the years. And I have had firsthand experience with it myself, as well as watching members of my own team travel with milk and talking to all of you. So let's cut right to it. What are some of the key things that you need to know and the resources that are out there? So, how to pump and travel without losing your sanity. First of all, your right to travel with breast milk exists with or without a baby being with you. So, certainly, many of us have to travel with breast milk because we are actually away from our child, maybe on a work trip or for whatever reason, the baby is not with us. I feel like times have changed a little bit in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years in terms of TSA agents and just the general public understanding that pumping happens with a baby present and without a baby present. But please know that even if your child is with you or not with you, you can still travel with breast milk. The bag that you carry your breast milk in, I don't mean the individual storage bags, but I mean the overall breast pump bag or whatever you're carrying, all of your milk, your insulated cooler, etc., does not count against your carry-on bag. That is a medical bag, and you can carry that in addition to your carry-on bag. So please know that. Breast milk is considered a medical liquid, so it's exempt from the, 311 rule. Those of you who understand, the 3 ounces and you've got to like put it in that little Ziploc type bag, et cetera. And most often, sometimes not, take it out. However, even though breast milk is a medical liquid and exempt from that 311, most often, in my experience and from people I've talked to, typically the TSA will ask you to actually take your breast milk out so they can take a look at it. They may want to screen your milk. And I recently watched Heidi from our team go through this in an airport that we were traveling through. And what they did was open the container and just like wave their little wand thing, test strip thing. I should call it a test strip over the top of it, just not in it. They didn't touch the milk. They didn't put anything in it. That is not how the process works. Just wave it over the vapors, I suppose, is what they're going for, and put it in their machine and onward. So please know that that is a possibility, and that a lot of people, have had that experience as well. You can ask to request that they avoid X-rays. I don't know of any evidence that to say that X-ray is bad for breast milk, but if that's your personal preference, you can ask that they don't put it through the X-ray machine. Please know that if you don't have it X-rayed, they are very likely to do that vapor test and do some extra screening of you. You can bring your ice packs, a cooler bag to keep everything at the right temperature. You can even have the gel ice pack type, even if it's partially thawed. You're allowed to do this because you are traveling with medically exempt liquid. So I think the key thing is preparation. This is what I have talked to moms about over the years. It's no matter what, even if you it's probably going to be just fine and things are going to move smoothly, there's anxiety about traveling with breast milk because you've worked really hard to pump that milk. And so the thought in your mind of someone either throwing it away or hassling you is just really anxiety provoking. So I think preparation is key here. I am a big supporter of going on and seeing what the current TSA guidelines are and even printing them off. I'm one of those people that if I have paper, I feel like I have proof, I have something with me. And so certainly you could also do this digitally. We can share with you some links for this, but you could have their website bookmarked or screenshot and just have that ready so that you can be reminded what the rules are as you go through. And if you encounter a TSA agent that needs a little more education, you could show that to them as well. And I think just having a plan is also really important, not just for the reduction of your anxiety around getting through the screening, but also the entire part of managing milk and possibly pumping as well on the airplane. So thinking ahead, how are you going to keep this milk cold, right? So you might travel in with some ice packs. Fine, great, that's wonderful. But how long is your flight? Will the ice packs really be durable enough? Are you going to use a milk chiller instead? Do you need to replace the ice in your milk chiller during this period of time? There are lots of great things on the internet, lots of advice from moms on this, like going to Starbucks and getting a cup of ice if you need to replace the ice in your cooler bag or in your milk chiller. That's a really great way to do that. You can do that once you're through security as well. But just having a game plan in your mind on how you're going to do the entire duration of travel will really ease your mind ahead of time. How you're going to pump on the plane. Like, you certainly can do that in your seat. You do not have to do that in the bathroom. Whether you cover up or not is entirely up to you. But if you do want to cover up, how are you going to cover up? Are you going to bring a cover? Are you going to bring a sweater, a shawl, what it is? So I think just having a plan for the parts, the milk, the cooling, temperature management part of this, the privacy part, if that's important to you, and knowing your rights and having those in front of you, or at least quickly accessible as you're fumbling in line and needing to reference something, is really important. So traveling doesn't mean you have to compromise it all in pumping. You can pump all the way through travel. It's your right. And there are actually lots of people working right now to shore up those rights even more. There's some legislation that's been moving through Congress this last year to help educate TSA even more about the whole experience of traveling with breast milk, to be supportive in that way. Just a little extra preparation will help ease any anxiety. But you got this. You can bring the milk, you can pump, you can nurse, you can have all of the milk with or without baby. This is your right. And you can do the travel thing and know that lots of moms are doing it every single day throughout this country and world, bringing breast milk through. I see it all the time, even with people unrelated to me. As I'm traveling, I see people doing it. It's become much more commonplace to travel with milk. You got this. And I wish you all the luck and safe travels for you and for your breast milk this year. That's it for this episode of Go Ask Your Mothers. Thank you so much for being here with me. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to see how this grows each week. Please clue me in on anything we should be talking about. We can have even more discussion. I'll bring more ideas from my own motherhood experiences to you in the coming weeks. This has been amazing. I really appreciate all your support. Until next time, thank you so much. That's a wrap for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in to Go Ask Your Mothers. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so you never miss what's next, and share it with a mom who could use a little encouragement. Follow me on Instagram at Sarah Wells Bags for breastfeeding tips, and at Go Ask Your Mothers for working mom life and more. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and you're stronger than you know. Until next time, you've got this, and I've got your back.